Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us for the webinar on all you need to know about VAT filing for UAE. I'm your host Sriram. Please note that this is a listen only webinar, so if you have any questions, please post them on the questions panel. We will address them at the end of the webinar. I'll be explaining you about the following topics: what is a VAT return, the different VAT filing periods, filing your VAT returns in FTA portal, and how Zoho Books simplifies your entire VAT return generation process. Let's get started. What is a VAT return? A VAT return is an official document that has to be completed by a taxable person and submitted to the federal tax authority at regular intervals, detailing any output tax due and input tax recoverable. What is an output tax? Output tax is the VAT a taxable person calculates and charges on its supplies of goods and services once it is registered for VAT. Input tax is the VAT added to the price by the supplier when the recipient purchases goods or services which are subject to VAT. What is a tax period? A tax period is a specific period of time for which the payable tax shall be calculated and paid. There are two types of tax period that has been defined by FTA, which are monthly basis and quarterly basis. The standard VAT return filing period will be on quarterly basis. However, the authority may request a certain type of businesses to file the VAT return on monthly basis to reduce the risk of tax evasion and to ensure the reduction of compliance burden on the businesses and administrative burden on the authority. So as I said earlier, this is the cycle of tax period. If you're registered under the monthly basis, the first tax period will be from Jan 1st, 2018 to Jan 31st, 2018 and monthly thereafter. The corresponding due date would be 28 February 2018. Next is quarterly. If you are registered under the tax period of Jan 1st, 2018 to April 30th, 2018, the due date would be 28 May 2018 and the next tax return period would be quarterly thereafter. If you are registered under the tax period of Jan 1st, 2018 to May 31st, 2018, the due date would be 28 June 2018 and the next tax period would be quarterly thereafter. If you are registered on the tax period of Jan 1st, 2018 to March 31st, 2018 and the due date would be 28 April of 2018 and the next tax period would be quarterly thereafter. You'll be under any one of the cycles of tax period based on which your tax period ends. What is the deadline for filing? Each tax period's VAT return must be filed no later than 28th day following the end of tax period. If there is no business transactions for the period, you are required to submit a nil VAT return by respective due dates. Let us discuss about filing your VAT returns in FTA portal. To initiate a VAT return, you should log in into FTA e-services portal, which is eservices.tax.gov.ae, and you need to log in using your registered email address and password. The registered email address is same as the one which you have acquired while applying for the tax registration number. So next you need to go to the VAT tab on the navigation bar, then go to VAT 201 VAT returns tab as shown here. From the screen, click on VAT 201 new VAT return to initiate a new tax return form. It would ask you for a few personal details like your TRN number, the tax person name which could be entered in both English and Arabic, and the taxable person address. After that, you need to select the VAT return period. Once you have entered the VAT return period, the return due date will get auto populated, and you also need to mention the tax year end, and the period reference number has to be mentioned in the fields given. The VAT return form contains two major sections. One is VAT on sales, another one is VAT on expenses. Let us discuss about what is VAT on sales and all other outputs. The box 1 in the VAT return sales refers to the standard rated supplies. It refers to the net value of the standard rated supplies made and the VAT due on all standard rated supplies made by you. Standard rated supplies are those supplies which are subjected to VAT of 5%. The box 2 refers to the tax refunds provided to the tourists under the tax refunds for tourists scheme. Box 2 requires you to include the value of any tax refunds provided to the tourists under the tax refunds for tourist scheme. You should only use this box if you are a retailer and provide tax refunds to the tourists in UAE under the official tourist refund scheme. The amounts reported in this box should always be negative. Box 3 indicates the supplies subject to the reverse charge provisions. You should declare in box 3 the value of supplies of goods and services received which are subject to VAT under the reverse charge mechanism. This includes import of services where the customer is required to account for VAT. Box 4 indicates the zero rated supplies. In box 4, you should declare the values of supplies of goods and services which are subject to VAT at 0%. Only the net value of supplies required to be declared in this box since the VAT on the supply is calculated as nil. Box 5 is used to refer to the exempt supplies. All the exempt supplies should be indicated in this box. Only the net value of the supplies required to be declared in this box since there is no VAT on the supply. The box 6 refers to the goods imported into the UAE. Box 6 will include the net value and the output tax due on goods which have been imported into the UAE. This will include all imports which have been declared through UAE customs where the payment of VAT on import is to be made on the VAT return. Box 7 refers to the adjustment to the goods imported into the UAE. You should use this box only if the information that is pre-populated in box 6 regarding goods imported into the UAE is incomplete or incorrect for making the changes accordingly. Box 8 is the total which displays the total amount. Box 8 automatically calculates the total of all the above boxes arriving at a total output tax due to the FTA and total adjustments applicable to that value for that tax period. Let us move on to VAT on expenses. The box 9 refers to the standard rated expenses. Enter all the expenses subject to the standard rate of VAT for which you would like to recover input tax. The total net value of standard rated purchases on which you are seeking to recover VAT should be recorded in the amount column. The box 10 refers to the supply subject to the reverse charge provisions. Box 10 allows you to recover any VAT that you have paid as output tax under the reverse charge mechanism which was declared in boxes 3, 6 and 7 of the VAT return. Box 11 refers to the total again. Box 11 automatically calculates the total of values declared in the box 9 and 10. This total represents the total value of VAT you are entitled to recover as well as any adjustment made to those values. The next section that is being displayed in the VAT return form is net VAT due. The field 12 represents the total value of due tax for the period. The total value of output tax that is due for the tax period will be calculated based on the above information. This will be the sum of VAT and adjustments column in the output sections. The next box is total value of recoverable tax for that period. The total value of input tax that is recoverable for the tax period will be calculated based on the above information. This will be the sum of VAT and adjustments column in the input section. Box 14 refers to the payable tax for that period. This will be the total due tax for the period less than the total recoverable tax for the period and will indicate your net payable or recoverable tax for the current period. There will be an additional box at the end called box 16 where it will be displayed. Do you wish to request a refund for the above amount of excess recoverable tax? If you are in a net recoverable position, an option will be available on the VAT return to request a refund of excess recoverable tax. If S is selected, you will be required to complete the VAT refund application form number VAT 311 after the VAT return form is submitted. If you select no, your excess recoverable tax will be carried forward to the subsequent tax period and can be used to offset against payable tax or penalties if applicable. The next section you could see over here is additional reporting requirements. This section is applied for only specified taxable person. You will be required to indicate whether you have used and applied the provisions of profit margin scheme during this period. Please select yes if you have used the profit margin scheme during the current tax period for which you are filing the current VAT return. If the below section does not apply to you for the specific tax period you are filing for, please indicate no. And please note that the additional reporting requirements section does not have any financial implications on the VAT payable or recoverable amounts as it does not impact the VAT return totals. The next section you could see is the declaration on authorized signatory. Once you have finished filling in the VAT return form, tick the box next to the declaration section. Please note that all the relevant authorized signatory details and the information will be pre-populated based on the information that has been already provided upon the completion of your tax period tax person records. We have seen how to file for VAT. Now let us go ahead and discuss how to pay for VAT. In order to pay for your VAT liability and administrative penalties, please navigate to the tab that displays My Payments. Enter the amount that you need to pay and click Make Payment. You will then be directed to the payment information screen to proceed with the payment. Click on Pay Now to be directed to the e-Dirham gateway. You may pay using e-Dirham payment gateway which supports payments through e-Dirham card or credit card. After confirming the transaction, once the payment is processed successfully, you'll be redirected to the FTA website. Please note that the partial payments can be made, that is, you don't have to pay the entire amount due. However, make sure you pay the entire before the due date to avoid penalty. Now let us see how Zoho Books simplifies the process of generating VAT returns. So based on the transaction you have created through Zoho Books, the reports will be generated and it will be populated with the values. All you have to do is copy the values from the field which has been given in the Zoho Books and paste it into the FTA portal. So we have designed the report formatting the same as the FTA format. So each and every value from the field can be calculated and posted into the FTA portal. Hope you had a good session. If you have any queries, you can contact us back through the number that has been displayed, or you could drop us an email at support.me@zohobooks.com. You could also initiate a chat session going into this website. Also note that we are in a discussion of getting added as accredited vendors with FTA. Once that has been approved, you can file the VAT return in a single click directly from Zoho Books. This all depends upon the confirmation from FTA. The next webinar is VAT on free zones and designated zones, which is dated on 28th February at around 11:30 a.m. Gulf Standard Time. You could register for that webinar through the link that has been provided below. Thank you.